updating my legendary commander investment tier list, which is arguably one of the most watched series for Rise of Kingdoms on YouTube throughout the history of the game. And the purpose of this list is to help you understand which commanders would be worth investing in now and will generate a lot of value for a long time for you, and which ones will likely fade quickly. Now, before we begin, I need to thank the sponsor of today's video. It's generous sponsors like Civilization Eras and Allies that make it possible for me to be a full-time content creator. The publishers of the OG Civilization have a new mobile game, and you might want to go check it out. It's called Civilization Eras and Allies, and the makers of the game are the sponsors of today's video. It's a history-based hero collection city-building war game where you'll explore new lands, conquer barbarians and other players to capture seats of great power called city-states. And from those city-states, your alliance will race to be the very first to build the wonders of the world. But perhaps one of my favorite aspects of this game is the hero system and the rich options there are for hero customization. You see, for each hero, you can change out their skills, you can change out the troop type that they lead, and you can even customize their stat bonuses. This is a game where game knowledge is rewarded tremendously, which is in part why I've made a dedicated channel to cover the game. So if you want to check out Civilization Eras and Allies, use my link in the description to download the game. Using that link will support my channel, and at the end of this video, I'll also have links to videos on my dedicated channel so that you can get a super fast start in the game. Thank you again to Civilization Eras and Allies for sponsoring this video. All right, now for those of you that are new to this structure and this list, this thing was completely flipped on its head with the release of QSH. This one commander is so much more powerful than literally anything the game has ever seen in its entire history. Even compared to Attila when he was released, nothing has been more busted than QSH. I used to say there's like high investment, and those are like top priority, then there's like low priority, and then there's like niche stuff. Look, there's like the meta breaker, and then there's all the other slop that tries to keep up. And I mean that respectfully, but it can't keep up. Nothing keeps up with QSH. So you need to understand before you look at any commander investment in this game, that QSH is so far beyond the power level of anything we've ever seen that literally completely rewrites the way that we think about commanders. Okay, with that out of the way, after you invest in your QSH, then you've got maybe things that will be compatible with future busted stuff. Pair with future is what that category is. We know that at some point we get new cavalry. Achilles is a new cavalry commander, but I don't think he's obviously not a part of the cavalry cycle. So pair with future is like, I think these commanders set you up to pair with the next potential meta breaker. Okay. Then there's all the other things, low priority. All right. That's the way this list is organized now. Then there's before Season of Conquest. So commanders you could work on before you get to the end game and feel okay about it and might get value with it in the end game. And then there's like this like niche role category where it's like, damn, you better know exactly what the hell you're doing before you lay down a single sculpture on one of these commanders. You better know, okay? You got to be a freaking pro before you choose one of these without having first done all this stuff, all right? You got to know what you're doing. Then there's the just know category. So there's all this stuff that like you're never going to do anymore. These commanders are all free, all right? So don't put any legendary commander sculptures in and no universals. And here's all the commanders that we got to go rank. There's actually been like so many of them. It's actually kind of insane. And we're going to start with some free commanders because I think they're going to be free, but we don't know yet. That's Casimir and Pepin. We're just going to throw them in. I'm going to assume they're going to be free. Don't spend a single universal legendary commander sculpture on that. Absolute waste if you did. They're gathering commanders. You'll get them when you get them. It is what it is. They are what they are, and they aren't all that important. All right. Then, this is such an interesting one. We've got Mary and Archimedes, who I hadn't added. They're the KVK Season 2 ranged commanders, and I'm inclined to put them in like maybe before SOC only. Like, you would never start these investments in the end game. Like, if you were a Kraken, or you're like, bro, I need to be ranged as fast as I possibly can. All that matters in life is ranged. I want to be ranged combat. Then like you could do them before Season of Conquest, but I don't know that they're that strong in the end game, particularly compared to these two who just kind of hold it down, man. They absolutely hold it down. And then from here, we just got this guy. I don't know where he goes in terms of overall power level. I'm going to just put him in niche role and call it a day, Afonso. And like, I couldn't tell you exactly how strong he is, but it seems like these two are just so god dang good. It's going to take a miracle to shake up that meta. And then from there, we have the city garrison who like, you know, he's niche role, man. We're talking about defending your city. Talk to me about luxury problems, okay? Like, yeah, you don't have sculptures for that. I don't have sculptures for that. You work on it when you work on it. It is what it is. I recently showed a video of Wild Lion getting rallied. He didn't have him. He did fine. Traded, what was it, like 3 to 20 million or whatever it was. Like, it was crazy. All right, now, this brings us to the two commanders that you're here for, Achilles and Hector. Where do they go? And I want to start by probably bringing Hector up here. And it's really tough to say what to do with him. In the absolute best case, for him is the very tail end of low priority. These are my predictions for how he's going to perform. That is, and we're going to go move people around also, by the way. So like Ragnar doesn't belong here anymore. But in the best case, I think he's low priority. Yesterday's video, I talked about how he's basically a more versatile Huo. The funny thing is that while technically he's more versatile, he also, like, it would have been really cool to pair him with Ragnar, except it's really weird. You have to use him as the primary if you want skill damage. Otherwise, he's going to be doing smite damage, so he doesn't work with Ragnar. So, but like, then you got to have leadership gear. So like, for infantry, he's kind of janky unless you wanted more depth of roster for single target smite damage. I think he could be cool as a gap filler for cavalry until we get more cavalry that do combo damage. But like, with archers, I don't know why you would put him there. You're gonna break up QSH with Hermann Prime for him. You're gonna get rid of AoE damage and a great debuff for this. I don't know about that. Maybe, but I don't know about that. It's possible, but I'm not convinced. All right, and then there's Achilles. So we're going to start to drag him up to the top of this list. There's so many commanders. This list is actually insane. Now, Achilles, I think, has the potential to be a pair with future commander. And it all kind of depends on what the future commander does. But I do think that if you run only one cavalry march, I would hold off on Achilles. I would wait until we see what new cavalry are. We find out about that presumably in the next 2 months or so. And that's when you would do an investment into cavalry. But for now, right, if you have 2 cavalry marches and you're ready to move on combo, you're a believer, I'm a believer. It feels like it's the most powerful thing. It feels like skill damage is going to the graveyard for all situations, and probably even archers in some form or another. At some point, there'll be a specialization for skill damage too. I think that if you have 2 cavalry marches, he can be here. He also, by the way, you could even say he might be here in terms of his priority. I'm honestly not quite sure where that's going to be. One of these 2 commanders is likely to be cracked with the new combo calves. You may or may not need both of them. Again, if you have 2 cavalry marches, I would say yes. If you have, but William in the meantime may suffice. Okay? Philip in the meantime may suffice. I'm not sure, but I feel pretty good about if you're running 2 cav marches in the short term, this will be the way to go, and it's setting up for future pairs. I'm okay with it. His damage factor is a little low, so the difference between him and sort of Arthur is that you're really counting on hitting 5 targets, whereas Arthur only needs you to hit 3 to get full value, right? Like Arthur does 1,400 combo damage twice to 3 targets, which is like, you know, pretty solid. Technically, you can get more damage factor in total, hitting the 5 targets with his 2,000 damage factor, but you got to be hitting all 5. Will you hit all 5? So between the two of these guys, something's going to pop off. And it's going to depend a little bit on what the new combo cavalry are going to do. Now, if you run 3 cavalry marches, I mean, you know, Achilles is like a shut up and take my money long neck. Shut up and take my sculptures. You know, like this guy is the long neck of the law if you are running 3 cavalry commanders. Bro is actually a giraffe. Bro is actually, unironically, a giraffe. We got to change it around. I know I've made this joke. This is an Achilles neck right here. Just look at his picture compared to everybody else. Like, dude, BQ has got his chin tucked in. He doesn't need to wear a neck guard because his chin is protecting his neck. Okay? Nor does Philip. Look at that beard. But this guy, no beard, no chin. Dude is exposed. All right? You've never seen someone more exposed than the long giraffe of the law over here. Now, we got to move some stuff around though, man. And maybe we'll even move Hector still. I don't know. But I can't recommend Ragnar even as a low priority anymore, which is so weird. Because like Ragnar Skippy is one of my best marches, but I don't know what the heck's going on with leadership not really being compatible with infantry. So you got to have leadership gear to even, you got to run it like this, Hector with Ragnar, if you want to try to do a skill damage thing. So like, infantry skill damage is dead to me, man. It's on its way out. You got to know what you're doing if you're starting that now. I'm not convinced that there's a future for that. I'm just not. I don't believe. On the topic of not believing, okay, now that we're getting all these combo calves coming up, I really even feel like doing Bert before Season of Conquest is a weird choice. Okay. I feel like, yeah, I'm not so sure anymore. I don't think he hasn't gotten a museum buff. I don't think he's that relevant. I could put him in niche role, but like, I just want to move him to just no, man. I'm over it. I'm just over it. I'm also kind of over Alexander the Great, which is going to sound like really weird to say, but like, let me clarify. Okay. Esong is an absolute monster with QSH. All right. Some would even say it's the best pair. I feel like I'd rather pair with Zhuge Liang personally. But if you run 2 archer pairs, you're going to run with Esong. So Esong is meta and goated, like straight up, no cap, absolutely slaps. But like none of these other commanders hold a candle to what Esong can do for you in the end game. So like I feel weird leaving them here, even though technically Liu Che Alex still is good. But like you're not trying to make arch gear for infantry in 2025. That's the thing. You're trying to do pincer. So unless you're ready to throw down $800 to move your armaments around, or, you know, depends on your situation. Like I'm inclined to put him in. Yeah, I'm putting him in niche role, bro. You gotta know what you're doing if you're starting that. The same is true, I think, for CJ, right? Like Esong has a completely different level of power in the end game compared to any of these commanders. And Siege, you just got to be a lunatic all in on Siege to do these guys early. I'll leave them here. They could arguably be like niche role. But we just had to clean this up, man. Now, do I think Philip still works as a secondary? Yes. Do I still think he has an important job? Yes. I think he's still good. Liu Che obviously still good. BQ still good. QSH. Zhuge Liang still good. I kind of want to bump him back a little bit though, compared to these other commanders. Because I feel like Zhuge is just like, I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. Circle AoE is really cool. Don't get me wrong. But I'm telling you, man, like, I'm just like, you got to get somebody to pair with your QSH. But like, I think Omniarch even made a video. Like, you just use Julius Caesar. It's going to be fine. Like, he's so good. It doesn't even matter who you pair with him. Like, yes, you can do better. Obviously, it matters. But, like, it's so much better than literally anything else you can do that, like, would I go out of my way to invest in Zhuge? Like, he's good. Don't get me wrong. But, like, what if you just, you know, started the game doing your Esong and then you just pair with QSH and then don't think about it anymore? And, you know, your second Archer March is going to kind of suck anyways until, like, literally, like your second Archer March is going to slop. Like, if you're lucky, it goes even. If you're dominating your KVK, it doesn't matter. Like, what are we talking about? But, like, you know, my Huo March traded like trash. My Zuge March traded like trash. Like, there's QSH, there's combo calves, there's pincer, infantry, and everything else just can't hang. And Ragnar could kind of hang. Ragnar Skippy can kind of hang. I don't know. I hate to be like doom and gloom on like the 99% of commanders here, but like QSH forever changed the way this game works, and that just welcome to the new overlord. I said it then, I'll say it now. Which brings us back to Hector. Right? Like on my last vid, I got so many comments. Some comments were really dumb, like, why would you try to compare to Huo? That doesn't make any sense. And it's like, of course I would try to compare to something we know really well because they're so similar, because now we know about how he might perform. Or if we had to guess, we can like compare and be like, but so setting aside these like really weird comments that I got, a lot of them did make sense. Like I saw, Cortex, and I was chatting with him a little bit, and he was saying that he didn't think very much of this dude. And I'm in agreement with him. Someone was saying that he's kind of like, I can't remember his name, the antler dude. Why, dude? There's so many commanders. As if I can find a commander on this sheet. Oh my god, antler dude, the secondary leadership commander. This guy, Honda Taragatsu. This guy, nah, bro. Yeah, he basically Honda 2.0, which is like really disappointing. I mean, he's not even truly versatile. Like, I can't put him with Ragnar without making him the primary, which is weird. Which might end up, I don't even know, man. I don't know what to tell you about Hector. I do know what to tell you. I think he'll be good in Canyon, and I think he will be gap fill for calves, but he will not be meta for calves. He might be meta in the short term because you don't have other options, but he's just gap fill. Like, he's there purely to be there until we get more combo calves, which really means he belongs in niche role. All right, I'm doing it. He doesn't even make low priority. He just goes in niche role. If you're a Kraken and you want to flex and you want to have the best of the best for the next couple months, and it might be longer than a couple months, right? It all depends on what the new combo calves do. Then all right, you could go for it. But I would rather start him in niche role and upgrade him to low priority than have people start to invest in him, and then a month later I'm like, sorry, suckers, he's going to niche role. So I think that's where we put it. I think that's how we do it, right there. Now, I don't even think it's possible that Achilles would get put to niche role in like the, what would I say? So if the next Cav release is 2 Cav commanders that slap in the field, we know one is going to. Even if it's single target combo, it'll be fine to pair with one of these guys. Like, it's kind of suck, but it's going to be okay. And they might do single target. They honestly might. I don't know. It's very, very, very possible. We still don't know if we're going to get something QSH power level or what. You have to be ready for that. It's possible that the Garrison will be a fielder, but like, when was the last time we saw a Garrison good in the field? Actually asking, right? Like, kind of Gorgo, but she saw that role get replaced really, really fast. So it's unlikely. So like, what would have to be true? It would have to be a Garrison commander with such good combo synergy for cavalry, with both the expertise and all 3 other skills being relevant in the open field, and the active skill being AoE damage, in order to make combo as a Garrison commander work in the field. It has been so long, like, not Lapu, not Matthias, I don't know how to pronounce him. I should have looked it up in the last however long. Eleanor never worked. CY, no. Toku, no. Like, when did we actually get a Garrison? Not Hera. None of these guys. No Garrison works in the field, man. Of course, conquering commanders do, so it's possible. Isong. When is the last time we got a Garrison that works in the field? Isong. When the game started, that was one. Technically, there have been a couple others. I mean, there was a time when you might have used Constantine or way back in the day, right? So Martel, you could argue for Martel. Again, that's like start of the game territory. So I think I've illustrated it is so unlikely we'll get a combo garrison open field worthy commander. So that means we're likely to get one more combo cav that we'll use in the field, pair with these guys, and that leaves you with either Philip, William, or Hector, right? And if you run 3 calves, like, just take my legendary commander sculptures, invest in long neck, and you feel good about life. Big thank you again to Civilization, Eras, and Allies for sponsoring today's video. Generous sponsors like them make it possible for me to be a full-time content creator, and I'll have in the end screen cards for videos on that's on my second channel. It is my dedicated Civilization, Eras, and Allies channel, so you can go check it out. You can also use the link in the description to go pre-register, I believe, or download the game, depending on when the game hits global. It's currently in a regional launch as of the time of this recording. But I have been slamming. I'm in Season 4. We have mechs. It's freaking wild out there. A lot of cool stuff going on. Civilization, Eras, and Allies. Check the cards in the end screen, all right? Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.